How to use a mixing desk very roughly. Okay, so at the moment you see those tiny little lights. You've got a little light flashing there. The orange light means it's powered on. The green light means we're getting some signal in. And if these lights, the more lights there are, the louder it is. If you start getting red lights, it's too loud. But yeah, so this is too quiet at the moment. They need to see sort of like 4 or 5, and that's the volume. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 channels, and they've got like lead voice, backing voice, violin, guitar, keyboard, blank, and then this is the master volume. So at the moment it's a 0, so we're not going to get any sound out. These are sliders. And you can see there's a 0 here. That's where you want the sliders most of the time. Okay, well, let's just take them down to 0 for start off with. Let's look at the whole rig. So you've got the cables coming out of here and going to the 2 main speakers. So one main speaker on the right and one main speaker on the left. So those are the speakers that the audience will hear stuff out of. So that needs to be really loud. Yeah, whatever. And the musicians are going to stand here. Okay, behind the speakers. So they're looking out. So this is where the musicians are looking out with the crowd out there, and they can see the back of those 2 speakers. But most importantly, there's another speaker in the middle facing at the musicians. Okay, and this is called the monitor speaker, and this is really important because basically the stuff coming out of these 2 big speakers goes that way, and we the musicians can't hear it, so we need to be able to hear ourselves. So one of the problems we have with the number 8 gig at Pershore is that I couldn't hear Claire through the monitor speaker, so I was out of time with her. So that's really important. That monitor speaker is really important. Okay, so let's go back over here. So each channel has got 2 volume controls, and you can't really see the writing. So I've done a little drawing for here. You've got this thing up here, which is the gain, which is volume. This is same volume. This is volume. Gain is volume, and the slider's volume. Okay, so loud, quiet. So you got pan here. Pan. That's basically easy. It goes. Do I want to send everything to the left speaker, or send everything to the right speaker, or send everything to both? So basically, you want the pan to be on the 12 o'clock position pretty much all the time. At the moment, the gain is off. Okay, so then you've got 3 more knobs here, 1, 2, 3, and those are high, middle, and low. So high sound is the high frequency sounds. So on the violin, let's say the violin is really squeaking, we take the high and we turn that, we take the high and we turn that right down to the bottom, and maybe we take the low and we turn that right up. So high, mid, low. So that's high frequencies, high pitch stuff, low frequencies, low pitch stuff, and mid in the middle. So you can adjust. That's called the equalizer or whatever. You can adjust the high and the mid and the low frequencies that each is coming out at. Okay, so let's say my guitar sounds too bassy. So let's go down to the guitar. Great. Up here, there's too much bass on my guitar. Too much low stuff. So let's turn the low down and the high maybe up a bit. I mean, this is very roughly, but you can fiddle with them. Okay. So we've got gain, pan, gain, volume, pan, left or right, mid, high, low, and they've got 2 at the bottom, the red one and the orange one. Now the orange one is effects, which you don't need to worry about. So I've just turned that all to 0. But the mon is the red one, and this is the monitor. So remember our monitor speaker in the middle. That is the monitor, the red one there. So let's say that I can't hear Hazel. Here's the lead voice. We can't hear Hazel through the monitor. Okay, we can't hear Hazel. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this red one up so that Hazel goes up through the monitor more. Okay, and let's say that Claire is too loud. We turn Claire down in the monitor a little bit, right? And let's say I'm too loud, we turn me down. Okay, so if the musicians are complaining about what's happening through that monitor, I can't hear Claire, then we go down to here and we look at the red ones and we turn them up or down accordingly. Okay, there's an overall monitor volume button here, but let's leave that for the moment. Now the other thing is, what happens if, so that's monitor speaker. Now what happens if these two speakers, there's problems with these two speakers, so they're too loud, they're too quiet, can't hear somebody, etc, etc, etc. Well, that's where these two volume controls come in, so the gain and the slider. Now, so you might ask, why have we got two volume controls? Well, most of the time you want the sliders to be on that 0 mark, like it's about there on the slider, okay? It's that 0 mark about here. So let's say there's terrible feedback, when you get that high-pitched being sound, Hazel's mic's blowing up. With these sliders, there's really easy access. You just bang. Let's just bang down the lead voice. So let's take Hazel down. Or let's say that the whole system's exploding. We just take the main volume and we just go bang. 0. Easy to access, rather than fiddling around with all these stuff up here. And also these gains, these sort of secondary volume controls, are a bit fiddly to use. So what you actually do is at the start, let's say the voice. You set the voice to here, and then you ask Hazel to talk. And you don't adjust this. Let's say she's too loud. You don't pull this one down. You change this one. So let's say she's too quiet, she's too quiet, she's too quiet, she's too quiet. Okay, great. Now she's coming out of these two main speakers perfectly. And that's where we want to set the gain. Great. And this slider's on the 0. So now if we want to make very small adjustments through, let's say she's got a particularly loud song and she needs to be louder, we can push that up a little bit, push that up a bit. And let's say she needs to be a bit quieter during a song, we can just gently bring that down. And that's sort of tiny, tiny changes. And it's easy to make. But always we know that if we put that back to 0, oh, you can't see it, but anyway, put it back to 0, there, that is going to be basically spot on. So basically, if there's these, you set the gain at the start of the whole band practice to sort of say roughly, right, okay, there is perfect. So the backing vocals, Claire and Alex, they're there, that is perfect. That's a good gain. And then I know that if any time I can just put it back there, and that's fine. So so hopefully that's as clear as mud. Essentially, you've got two volume controls. You want to adjust that one until the sound is perfect with this one at the start of the practice, and then during the practice you can alter this one slightly. I'm putting my acoustic and my electric guitar through here, so at some point I'm going to unplug that acoustic guitar and plug my electric in, and at that point if I just pull out my lead out of my acoustic guitar, there's going to be this pop, which is not good. So we want to turn the volume down on the guitar before the song where I pick up the electric guitar, and when I've picked it up and plugged it back in, it can go up. But I'll give you a nod, that'll be obvious. It's just, if I've got to change the guitar, I pull this down. Couple more things. You always turn this on first and then the speakers. And you always turn the speakers off first. So they're on last, off first, and then this. If you turn those speakers off while this is on, you're going to get a big pop as the sound of these speakers turning off goes off. Anyway, that's not really that important. I think that's about it. You'll notice that there's two gains for these channels, and I've put arrows for the right one you want to use, and it's just the same one here for the keyboard. There's a headphone socket here, headphone socket here, so they're going to have some headphones if you want, and here's where you adjust the headphones. So let's say we're talking too loudly or making a right racket and you want to actually listen to the headphones. You just pick up the headphones and adjust the headphone volume here. I think that's about it. Enjoy. The on and off switch is on the back here, right next to the thingy. Okay, enjoy. I hope that was clear. And I'll just leave that up there if you want to take a screenshot. Yep. Okay, and I'll leave this piece of paper here. Thanks.